One thing that God taught me this week, even though it might seem generic or common sense, still, that doesn't mean we always act on it or that it reflects us that moment. Until you personally are in that situation, it's not always going to make much sense. So basically, there are times that God doesn't tell me specifically when and how and things are going to be a certain way in terms of what He's going to do in my life. Especially since right now I always tell on this podcast that, right, my life is not stable due to being stalked and harassed by demons extremely ever since 2019, which is the same time also COVID started, because all this stuff is connected. And all my life, they were obviously always there, terrorizing my life, using humans they possess in bad situations they set up. Okay, so basically, I'm always asking God then, when are you going to help me with this, right? When are you going to help me with that? When am I going to get this prayer? Etc. In the last episode 190, I did say that God's plan, sometimes we've all reached that point, right? In specific situations, obviously. It's not your whole life. He does actually show you in that sort of deep conscience of yours what his plan is for you. It's like that knowing feeling. You're just not going to know the details, and he'll guide you as you move forward in life. Okay, so the devil's allowed to then send confusion to the mind, right? Fear, using just thoughts. So basically, and they use witchcraft too, which can make you think something is a feeling when it's not. Because it's a power, you know what I mean? It can manipulate the mind and stuff. It can make your heart beat fast. And it's like a weapon. It's like an attack, but it's invisible attack. So if it hits your stomach, your heart, then you get me, they start to react the way they do if they were actually scared, like that. So they then want you to think that's your feeling. You get me? Okay. And just so you know, that's actually how they use witchcraft and stuff to send, nonsensical fake feelings and thoughts to people that they've dragged into perversions like LGBT. They use witchcraft. Every witchcraft, whatever the goal is, right, it's gonna change. That it doesn't mean it's one type of witchcraft. No, based on the type of, goal they have, right? Because those ones is about perversion. Okay, and then there's a witchcraft to make someone poor, like that. Witchcraft to just send you feelings that are trying to mimic fear. But only God can create fear, so it's not fear. They're just attacking the areas of the body, you get me, that normally would feel fear. Okay, so basically, what I'm trying to say is God allows me to go through situations where He doesn't do something in a way that He normally would, so that then I question Him. And then in that questioning, I learn something. So He doesn't really tell me things, you know? So, for example, I keep asking Him, where am I going to live temporarily? Like, what state do I need to go to, etc.? When are you going to get me out of this country? Because I obviously want to leave this country. Things like that there's just no answer. So He taught me, right, in those moments that He allowed me to. Again, that's our free will that we're using, obviously, that we're supposed to use. We're supposed to talk to God. I'm just using the free will He gave me to obviously talk to Him. Yes, but I'm saying that when that, right, doesn't connect with the time that He sends you an answer, some people might just give up, right, for some time or forever. In that sense, God will keep tugging and calling you, obviously. It's your choice to come back and stuff. But you get me? What happened was, without me knowing, He's been pulling me away from just that sort of way of questioning what His plan is. Where I'm obviously complaining about the difficulties that He's putting me through. And don't connect this to bad situations every human goes through. There are things God is putting us through as a test. And there are things that humans go into because of their own bad decisions. So, I have to clear that, because humans might want to take advantage of what you just heard and always act like it's God who puts them in situations that we would say are bad. No. Anyways, so for that reason, these are specific situations he's actually, doing in my life. So for that reason, it's a type of test where I don't know what he's gonna do. He just won't tell me. And it's years and years and years. So for that reason, there are times, right, I would complain about what he's putting me through. Okay, and then there are times that I'm just begging him to get me out of it. And just as you would expect, right, different types of way that I talk to him. There are times that I just say, please just tell me this one step. Like, what should I do here? I'll wait for the rest. Sometimes I just want him to tell me one little thing, how I should do it, which is like the next step that I would normally take if I want to get out of that situation. Because I'm just doing what, my mind would naturally do using logic. I'm just doing what I would naturally do in order to help myself like that, or in order to like that. But I don't know specific one, correct? So it would be obviously good to just know what God would want me to do that would just end the situation. If that ever happens, obviously, it obviously just means it's not time yet. So you just need to keep doing what is morally and logically the right thing to do, not the moral perspective that religions give you, because they're corrupted and have perversion, sexisms, and all evil they accuse God of, So yeah. And then when it's time for God to help you in that situation, then he's actually gonna just guide you to just know where to go, or someone will find you if maybe others have to help you, etc. Okay, so I don't know how it happened is my point. I don't know how it happened. I just all of a sudden am praying to him in a different way. You get me? Because he's guiding me to it. I have been guided by him to pray to him in a way where I say, my Lord, I want this, so please help me. So I want to inspire you and remind you to pray this way. Tell him what you want, and then tell him to help you accomplish it. So for example, I said to him, all this demonic persecution has been distracting me from you. I don't necessarily spend a lot of time with you like I used to when I was young. You get me? I always talk to God. I'm always connected to him. He's always, I'm always with him in my mind. Yes. But I don't necessarily sit down and do acts of worship the way I used to, because 24/7 I'm being harassed and stalked and bothered, and witchcraft is being sent to my body, my mind. You get me? So I have a good reason, obviously. I didn't forget God. It's just, if you knew the way demons have power to follow me, you wouldn't even know when you could connect with God. Like 24/7 I'm being harassed. 24/7 I'm being harassed in invisible ways, like witchcraft. And sometimes it's not witchcraft, it's other powers. When I tell that witchcraft to leave my stomach, it doesn't. Because something else sometimes is sent to me. Like, it's too overwhelming. So I'm suffering too much, and it's hard to, obviously, right? That doesn't mean God is mad at me. He understands. I don't obviously have the sort of ability to focus on him the way I would if my life was nice, right? Okay. So I basically said to him, despite that, right, despite the situation being the same, please help me. Basically, here's what I said. First, I told him what I wanted. So I want you to pray like this. My Lord, I want to do more acts of worship. So the word I use is ibadah, in Arabic. I didn't necessarily mean like praying and fasting, because I already do that. I mean more like verbal, more like mental worship. Like you sit down. Since Islam is the correct religion of God Almighty, it's just corrupted. The Bible is also from God, so it's not rejecting that. It's just saying that book is also corrupted. The only problem is Muslims will not admit the Quran is corrupted, which I'm the first Muslim to tell you. So for that reason, these are God's books, but they're both corrupted. So people are supposed to take their good and leave their bad, And for that reason, it's the same God who sent the original Torah with Jesus. And it goes back, obviously. Other prophets before him had that Torah too. Like that. So it's the same God, basically, who sent Jesus. It's just Jesus is not his son. God doesn't have children. a wife, or any of those qualities that a creation would have. He's powerful. And that's literally the only thing the devil attacks people. He's just trying to send thoughts to them that he can't be that powerful, that he can't have a son. Like, that's all he uses against them, because that's literally the reason. He's so powerful, he's not going to have that quality. That's literally it, Okay. And he's not the first man. They've accused other prophets before him of being God's son too. If you've been listening to this podcast, I told you guys, because prophets are supernatural. They're not regular males. So two, because of that supernatural ability, they have some sort of powers that God gives them. Things that are like cool and scary. They're just cool powers, Okay, the devil uses that to sort of portray them as divine. They're supernatural, but not divine. Divine is only God. Just as you believe angels have power, right? But they're not God, they're not divine. I don't know why humans like to act like it's hard to believe, right? A species could also have some among them who are supernatural and cool, right? Can connect with God a little closer than you and I, but they're still human. You get me? It's so annoying how humans like to act like they don't understand. So yeah, obviously if God is sending them to you, right? They're connected to him closer. Angels get to talk to them. They get to have a book given to them. Do you know how powerful that book must be? You know what I mean? That's God's words, the original one, sent from above. Okay, they're not like a regular human flesh. Their body looks like human, right? But internally, God created them stronger than a regular human. You get me? Because they're supernatural. They have power in that sense. Okay, so what the hell are you thinking? You know what I'm saying? The devil's going to use that to make it seem as if then they had to be a son or something. It's annoying. Anyways, you ask God to guide you to that. I'm not trying to make you believe in anything. I give you wisdom. I give you logic. I share things with you. It's your job to take it and ask God to guide you, because there you go. It's up to him to guide you, just like in situations like mine that in this situation, we all also go through, like, God, what should I do? How do I do this? How do I get out of here? It's the same with religion. God, who are you? Are they lying about you here, etc.? You have to wait and use the things I talk about of how demons confuse you. They send witchcraft. They send people. You have to remember there's an enemy out there that will try to mimic things and try to make you think it's from God. And just wait and be patient. And over time, you'll learn. If it's right, if this content is from demons or if it's from your creator, you'll know. You get me? Because you're doing that thing I told you to do, to give yourself some time. I don't mean take years. I just mean don't rush, And when you're confused, also keep asking. Okay, so basically, pray like this. My Lord, I want to worship you more. I want to spend more time with you directly, Because if I fast, yes, I'm worshiping God, but I'm not necessarily spending time with him, right? I'm just not eating and drinking. So I basically meant I want to worship him in a way where I spend time with him more, Not reading scripture, because that's, to some degree, that's just like seeking knowledge. I wouldn't really call that spending time with him. Yeah, you're learning about him, right? But your mind is active reading that book, just like it would a science book, in the sense that you're sort of gone either way. So really, really connecting with God will really be when you're actually talking to him, correct? And then the other way would be you're not necessarily talking to him, but you're saying praises. Like Islam has a lot of that. The Bible says it more in like generic English ways. You're a great God, like that. They say generic statements. Well, the Quran has ways that it's sort of turned into a recitation. You know what I mean? Like Allahu Akbar, like that. You can repeat it in a way where it's like a recitation. It has a flow and it's nice. Even though it's also a statement. God is great. God is great. I'm sorry, the all great. Not great, but all great. Because something can be great that he created, right? The all great, nothing and no one is greater than him. Okay, so I said that to him, right? And then I said, please help me. I mean, you can just say I want to worship you, but to be specific, I said, here, this is what I want to do, my Lord. But then I said, please help me, because demons are getting in my face. You know what I mean? They're getting in my way. So it doesn't matter who you are, whether you're me or a human over there. Ask God for the good things you want to do. My Lord, I want to give up the sin. So please help me. My Lord, I want to stop talking this way, this unhealthy way. So please help me. My Lord, I want to stop evil thoughts always distracting me from the good plans I had that week. You know, I wanted to learn about you. I wanted to pray. I wanted to fast. I wanted to give up these bad substances and sins. And I wanted to stop porn. I wanted to stop doing all these things. I want to get away from these bad surroundings and situations. But I keep getting attacked. So this is what I want to do. Please help me. Like that. Instantly, right? I usually do that at night. I don't know, it just happens because I have more peace, I guess. Day is rushed, right? And then the next day, I see that I'm already doing what I said to God Almighty that I wanted to do. All of a sudden, for example, I said to him things like, my Lord, I want to understand how to defeat and destroy gang stalking. Like, this is a witchcraft that no one has defeated so far. No one knows what the solution is. We don't know how to stop these demons possessing thousands of strangers. They just drive around you all day. They take over your neighborhood. You never know how to mentally be free from them. You know, you can just ignore them all day, but the emotions, they're still attacking you. All the anger, all the rage, all the anxiety, all the fear, whatever the harassment that's covert would cause someone. If you're stalking someone, we're still feeling all those feelings they're sending us. We're still getting all the evil thoughts they're sending us. We're still being distracted every now and then, especially when you're shopping or in a place where there's a line. They want you to think it's just to irritate you. It's not. They have witchcraft. So if I get in a line, right, and I'm paying something, all of a sudden they get very close to me in that row or that line. There you go. This is why it's so hard to defeat it, because none of us ask God directly how to defeat it, right? We should rely on our own strength up to the knowledge He's already created us with. That's not healthy, because it's new and it's not easy, like things that we already know, using the way God just already created us. It's something we have to ask. So since none of us do, we always just are in that state of just our natural human state. We're just fighting with something, we're just ignoring something. Guess what I'm thinking they're trying to do? Exactly, just irritate me, just bother me, just get close to me, just trying to assault you pervertedly. That's all I think they want to do. I didn't realize they were doing witchcraft to me, and that's why they like to come very close to me. Because I've also learned that they are very limited in making us have these emotions and thoughts that don't belong to us. You get me? Just think of it as just a stalker, okay? But let's say a community is stalking one person like that. All the bad emotions, right, that person could naturally have projected. It doesn't mean you're stupid and you're feeling bad emotions. No, they're harassing you in a way where in their harassment, they're projecting emotions to you, correct? Like, oh, we're dominant. We have power over your life. We're God. You're never going to be free. They're projecting it. You get me? So it doesn't mean humans are being harassed by evil humans. And, right, those innocent humans, it doesn't mean they became so clouded with bad thoughts. No, just because someone does something bad doesn't mean you get clouded with negativity because of their bad conduct. That's actually not how we're created. It means that the perpetrator is sending you the bad thoughts and feelings. You get me? So we're not responsible for that. It doesn't mean our natural brain and heart are feeling fear and anger because they're created to feel fear and anger. No. They're projecting it to us. They're trying to send that stuff to us, So for that reason, even if they're just sitting there in a table, right, stalking you covertly, and you're sitting over here, you can't focus. Like for me, when I try to maybe be productive or I'm at a job, it's hard to focus. And I'm always saying to God, but wait a minute, they've been stalking me all my life. I don't remember this mental way they were controlling my mind. What is it? Like that, I didn't ask God, I was just relying on my own strength and fighting with them. I asked him, my Lord, I want to get rid of this. And I was specific. I told him first, I want you to help me overcome their witchcraft. What do we need to? I asked them to just take away that power from them, but I know to some degree God may not, right? Because they're still going on. So I asked them for a solution to stop it, right? Be free from it. Two, because that's the biggest problem for me, the witchcraft. And then two, exactly the way my mind is being controlled by that witchcraft. It's just thoughts and thoughts and thoughts and thoughts and thoughts, hyper awareness. They're just trying to scare. Like, for example, let's say I'm walking out of a building. One of the things they do is they exit and enter the same time as you. You don't know where they come from. Every single time, you're going to know there's stalking going on. They're just waiting for us. You can see their facial expression if you are a third party observing them. They're waiting for you. Two, they stalk us in a pattern where obviously they're trying to learn a routine. So if I'm always getting out of a building at 11 a.m., then they're always going to be outside at 11 a.m. to enter and exit. So people don't think that was stalking. You get me? They'll create a routine, or they'll bring human beings there who just sit there every day and act like they were maybe doing something there recently, and it just happens to be 11 like that. But if I change my routine, that's how we can prove it that they're stalking us. If we change our routine, they follow with it. You know what I mean? Okay, so they do as best as they can to act like just generic people, entering the store because it's a store, right? Entering this apartment because they also live there. They can do whatever they want, okay? But God created evil obviously to be obvious. Why would something be not obvious? You get me? Like, why would God create something in a way that we can't prove it? That would take away our right to show that we're victims, correct? So obviously, since God is good, he created evil in a way that evil could just try to be covered, but we can prove it, correct? That evil was happening. So we can prove it, And that's the other thing I asked them. I want to help, people and myself who've been put in this witchcraft. I mean, I've been put in it to help people. So I'm not really a real victim to it, but you get me. I asked them basically also that I want to come up with a way to legally go after gang stalking. And I told them that there's obviously a problem, my lord. It's every country, every city. You get me? It's just demons. You agree demons possess many people in this world. So they can easily just bring someone. If I go to New Zealand right now, they'll just find weirdos in New Zealand to stalk me. I can go to Japan. They'll just find weirdos in Japan to stalk me. You get me? It's not something like a city or a town or an apartment complex, a community. And then if you go somewhere else, you're good to go. Well, our life would have been good, obviously, right? So you get me? Do you see why it has to be witchcraft and it's not necessarily just bad people working together because they're just jealous of someone? Because how is it able to identify the person even if they leave the city, the state, and the country? You get me? So something else is following us then, not those humans. That's how we can prove it. They're demons. But the humans are just the type of humans who naturally go around doing crime. You get me? Okay, so it's not weird to understand. Yeah, so basically, as you've seen, I've uploaded an episode where I said I found the physical solution to gang stalking. Like that. I'm going to, inshallah, share it. I didn't intend it to be 53 minutes long. Since I didn't share the solution in there, I was just talking about other things. But that's just because I was sharing wisdom that will help you in other ways. So inshallah, I'm going to share it in like an instruction way. How to take back your power mentally, which is what I asked God to teach me. And then the spiritual, I already know. He has to actually just deliver us, just take it out of our life. For me, it just means he's not ready to do it. I've obviously been asking him to do that for years. I don't know about other people. I don't know how many are out there who are actually victims to this, just so you know. Like 98% of the humans who are saying they're are the gang stalkers. They copy us because one of the things that this witchcraft does is it is very jealous of the victim. Very jealous. Just if you ask me what the hell do they want, they're jealous of the person, extremely jealous. So basically, they always try to copy them. I see them trying to copy my body language to some degree, the way I dress, the way I carry myself, the way I speak, the way I laugh. If I'm having an interview with people, the sort of persona that comes out of me, the sort of energetic way just having a conversation with someone where you can tell they really like my personality, right? I'm very engaging and good with communication. You get me? They'll just come and interrupt that person over and over again and try to copy me. It's so creepy, So it's really a witchcraft where these demons and the humans, they're just very jealous of people who are similar to me, We would say very empathetic. We would call them intelligent. And they just have qualities that humans who are narcissistic are very jealous of. But other bad humans could obviously be possessed to do this too. You get me? You just need to be a bad person. But they're usually narcissistic. So It's just envy. Anyone who's evil is narcissistic. Don't put narcissistic in a box. Don't think it's a box or anything. As if other bad humans don't bother us or anything. No, it's just that quality. You get me? That sort of quality of narcissism, being very fake, very demonic like. You don't act like a human. You gaslight people. You're always trying to make them forget what happened, like that. So it's just the weirdos in society, but there's so many of them. They have all types of jobs. You get me? It doesn't mean they're the bottom only in jobs. They could have really big jobs. You get me? It's just the weirdos. It's very hard to explain, The sort of more decent they are, but they're still possessed by these demons who get their agreement to reject you or harass you from opportunities and stuff. Well, they're going to be very polite. Like if I contact a lawyer and he's possessed, he's never going to act weird. You get me? He's just going to be rejecting. He's just going to not be moral. He's not going to help you if you ask him for help. So just when I was in Arizona in 2021, I messaged a lot of lawyers. I wanted to do these lawsuits. No one wanted to help me, like that. They always speaking the exact same way. I was like, what? What the hell is this? I'm not talking to the same person. They're so creepy. You human beings don't know that. You get me? Because they're individuals. They'll treat you differently. But gang stalking actually reveals to the victim, right? The very rare people on this earth who are going through it. It reveals to us the majority of human beings are very evil. It's like a witchcraft that basically another job it has is to actually educate this person that everyone is evil except a few. Because we start to see, right? It's not just the creep that everyone obviously knew could be used by. Go to a transit station. It's not just those weirdos who obviously are possessed. That's who they kind of first use because they don't want you to know it's a big thing. Okay. Then you go and meet people who you could never think were evil at heart in that sense, right? You think they're decent enough. They go around maybe being politicians every day and helping a lot of people. Like these attorneys who usually fight for black rights or whatever. They're called blacks. No, it's African. Why are they calling him black? I've contacted many of them. You get me? And they just reject you. Like that. They're not good people. So it sort of reveals to you, oh my God. Right? Without the witchcraft, humans just pretend to be normal. But due to this witchcraft, we're able to see their true heart. What's really in their heart. They're not nice people. They're not good people. They don't want to help you. But two, there are people who would help you. So this is when you have to be careful. There are human beings who would help you, right? But the witchcraft is just causing rejection. So let's say you contact their company, you ask them for a service. Yeah, a bad one in that company, like the administrative assistant, they're going to call or email you and be like, I'm sorry, we can't help you. But that person who they work for, right? That attorney, that doctor in that office, that's like their clinic, right? That's his clinic. They actually are a nice person and they would have helped you like that. So when the person is good, they're going to use the ones who work for them or around them, right? In the company or whatever, who are very evil. They're going to make them, the witchcraft is going to just do something where it sabotages the ability for that good person to see it. You get me? It's like those movies where there's a bad, human beings trying to sabotage something. The way they hide something, right? It's like the witchcraft is doing that though. And you're like, but witchcraft doesn't have a body. It basically uses demons. And the demon then uses a human body. It finds whoever it can find in that little store, that company, or that attorney's office. And they're obviously easy to find, right? Just typical shallow, regular humans, right? Annoying coworker. They can just use her or him. They'll message you and be like, I'm sorry, Hannah, we actually are full this week. Like that. And that attorney, if he actually saw me or heard my story, maybe he would have helped me file a lawsuit. Like that. You know what I mean? It doesn't always mean, obviously, that's not rational. There's good people in this world. Okay, so when demons know, right, this human could help you because they're good at heart, they're going to use others to distract them from you. They're going to do something to their system. When I try to file complaints against employees who harass me when I go shopping in a store, and I'm literally about to say submit, that's why I just copy my stuff, write it somewhere else like Word document, and then I paste it. The system crashes. Just yesterday I sent these complaints because every day for months, If I go to these stores, even though they keep changing the employees, this is how you know it's witchcraft and not humans. Because the employees are changing every day in that company, right? And I'm a customer, and they do the exact same behavior in the exact same way. What? Right? Meaning, yeah, they can harass somebody, but why is it the exact same way? Why is it the same way in the same amount of hours that they did it last time? It's just weird. So obviously ask God, I want to be free from this, right? I don't want to, obviously, just as you can listen to me, it makes you stressed, right? Hearing me when I tell you these examples. That's what I ask God. I want to be free from that. I don't want to wake up every day and be like, they're waiting for me in that store. When I get out of my home, they're waiting for me in the hallway. I don't want to live my life like that. Because I told you guys, they've been stalking us all our life. It's just that something happened at some point in our life where they make us aware of it. You know? That awareness is dangerous, therefore. Yes, we want to know, right? Because we need to pray and get out of the situation. We need to know because we don't want evil humans pretending to be friends. But we want to be mentally free, right? And just live our life. One thing they obviously cause is extreme fear of going outside. Extreme fear of shopping or going out to get your mail. 2019, I remember. It was not me. You get me? It's the witchcraft. Witchcraft will come over me trying to scare the hell out of me like a bear is outside. When I just need to simply go down and get my mail from my apartment. Can you believe that? But I've always seen these humans always pop up and harass me everywhere I go, especially in my jobs. And I didn't have that sort of anxiety coming over me of being harassed before. That's what I'm saying. At some point, they start to actually use witchcraft that is actually controlling our own natural ability to just live our life. I've seen crazy people before. The average human in this country, in this world, is just shallow and toxic. You get me? They just fake. They usually are the ones who always greet you first. Unless it's their job or something. Good people don't greet strangers, okay? That's not our nature. That's not normal. We mind our business. We greet someone in a situation you would say is nice and appropriate, like there's a meeting and you all sat next to the stranger. Like you get me, just in that moment where two strangers sat next to each other, you both might have seen each other accidentally. Oh, hello, just to be polite and humane. Not right, that's logical. But you just walking into this big mall. Why would a stranger be like, hello? That's what I'm saying. They're those types of humans, get it? So sadly, a lot of other people like you are being harassed by them. It's just not gang stalking. They follow you too. They work for demons against you too. They monitor you too. They sometimes just chat with you randomly and get information from you. Now they know your plan. And then like that, they're witches. They do a lot of witchcraft and weird things behind the scene. They're not, you know, our world has too much darkness, but people don't know. So just like you, to some degree, I didn't know this stuff either. The gang stalking is one way some people who are real victims to it learn about all this darkness out there. It's just if they don't connect it to witchcraft right away and demons, then they'll struggle. Because, right, it's not rational that complete strangers do the same thing everywhere you go. And there you go. They want people to sort of go crazy. Right? You're not going to go crazy, obviously. I just mean like to just be so distressed. Not mentally ill, goodness. That's caused by demons possessing you at a high level. You know? A good person, they can't do that to you. They can just, right, send you bad thoughts all day. So, right, God actually helped me learn over time. And that's what would happen. I asked him for a solution to at least to stop the way they control our life and mind and our feelings, right? This gang stalking and the other demons that follow me, because I have demons that follow me that follow prophets. You gave me just a different persecution. All the other demons and witchcraft that follow me and other powers. I'm followed by multiple programs, basically. So for that reason, a day would come, right? The next day. I learned some stuff. It doesn't help. I tell God, what I've just learned, right? What you've taught me doesn't help me. It doesn't mean God is stupid, okay? It just means I'm learning stuff. So this is how he teaches you as a God. You get me? How he guides you. I would keep telling him, my Lord, this didn't help. I want to be free from them. I want to be like before 2020. Before 2019, July. You know? That's when I left my job. I mean, it was like they fired you basically, but I left the same time. You gave me that sort of way. right? I told them to stop the harassment and bullying. Otherwise, right, you have the right to take legal action and stuff like that. I just didn't get a chance to take legal action. The whole goal of gang stalking is to make you poor. So basically, see, that's why it's so hard to figure out the solution. They have so many agendas, right? Accuse you of mental illness, make you poor, isolate you, make you live mentally all day in fear and anxiety, make you go against God. They have so many intentions that you're like, what the hell do I need to do? You know what I'm saying? So instantly they attack my life. You get me, as I left that job. So that then that gap that I would just have some peace for a few months or weeks, right? To just heal from that traumatic experience of being bullied again at another job. The way they just lie and lie and lie about me. You know, it's just all they do is lie about the victim. All they do is accuse the victim. They do something called smear campaign, right? It's like they in that community all just work together and lie about this. It's just weird. So that's how you know it's demons. You get me? In that sense of demons. You know? Because bad humans can't be this engrossed in something. You know, it's just too much. They still have a life to live either way. Demons have no life. You know? So for that reason, day would go, another day would go. It's like the third day, I finally was like, oh, this way of seeing these humans, my Lord, actually helps me. Finally, I'm mentally free. They're walking by right now. They walk weird and strange and creepy with their body language. They just bring them from the bushes. I don't know where the hell they come from. You know? They just pop out of the blue. Sometimes they try to sneak up behind me. Vehicles right behind me. You never heard the sound of the vehicle. Who doesn't hear a car? You know? That's what I'm saying. They're weirdos. So you get me? Now I'm recording. I'm going to go inside this building. Before I do, all the ones who were walking by as I was recording this, technically I'm not being attacked too much in my mind with thoughts about the fact that they're stalking me. You get me? It's like I'm learning to overcome that and just live my life. You get me? Because I told you guys, we're not really victims to them because they already are targeting other human beings like you. You just don't know, you know? They're just a typical average human who works for demons. They really are agents for them. That's why they go out so much. You agree? Humans go out way too much. They're always in a store. They're always in a shop. They're always in the street. You know, it's always just they always going out too much. That doesn't mean they're social too much. They really are working for demons. You get me? They're going out looking for people, putting curses on people, putting witchcraft on people, listening to your plans, watching and listening. Okay. So God helped me with that. And then two, basically he taught me to be specific is what I'm telling you guys. He taught me to be specific with prayer. My Lord, I want to do this. So please help me with that. You know what I mean? Help me to overcome this. Help me to solve that. Be specific. Because he guides you. It's much easier for you to ask specific things. Because then when he teaches it to you, you can actually then see that it's from him. But if you say to him, my Lord, I want this, and you say something way too generic, right? Like, I want to be wealthy. It doesn't mean God didn't answer you in that situation. He did. But the guidance he sent you is probably, it depends. Some people might get it. Some people may not. Right? Like maybe this suggestion comes to you like, do this side hustle or do that. Maybe that's from God guiding you. Okay, but guess what you're going to think? It's just a random suggestion, right? You're just going to think it's not connected to your prayer. You see what I mean? So that's why I'm not saying you have to do this. God is still your God. I'm saying you're going to see this experience of when you said something, God actually did it. God actually helped you right away. So it's for you to know, right, how quickly he answers us. Not to make it easy for him. No, you don't have to do that. For me, the reason why I had to be specific is because he's not ready to help me yet. You get me? That's his reason in my case. So I had to be specific. I had to say, okay, you're not going to get me out of this situation. They're still going to follow me, but at least help me like that. I had to be specific. Okay, but in real life situations, my Lord, help me. And you're saying something big and generic. That, okay, he's still going to help you. You get me? It doesn't matter. You don't need to say something specific. I'm saying when it's taking too long, or even if it's not, right? Even if you can say something generic, it's a good thing to be specific because you're going to see how quickly he helped you. You're going to see how he guides you. You get me? I'm just saying there's many ways to pray. Don't limit yourself to one way of prayer. Don't be like, oh, my Lord, I want to start a business. That's too generic. My Lord, I want to start a business. Please help me. Okay, good. First, my Lord, this week. You see what I'm saying? You're still praying. This week, please help me to write that business plan. Like that. Don't just ask him what you want in a generic way, but ask him to help you have the strength, the knowledge to do the specific step number 1. You did it. Yay. Step number 2. You like that. You want God to help you have the strength. Because you could be too lazy like that. I don't want you to be too lazy and wait for things to pop up for you randomly because you prayed, He helped you. He answered that prayer. Yeah. He's putting suggestions into your mind. He's creating opportunities for you, or they're already there. Like, it doesn't matter. You could be too slow, right? You may not get it. You may not understand it. The devil could attack you like that. Those things don't take themselves out of the situation just because you prayed to him, correct? So let's ask what we generically want, right? My Lord, I want to get married. My Lord, I don't want to get married, like that. Some people will not want to. Then, okay, ask for specific things. Please help me against this attack to my mind that's trying to make me uncomfortable if I don't want to get married, like that. Please protect me from the prejudice of others who are trying to pressure me. You get me? You know the specific things, pros and cons that attack you in that situation for that generic prayer you asked. So you ask him for help against that specific one, because that's like number 1, number 2, number 3 issue that will arise, right? And then as you go on, because he helped you with 1, 2, 3, the whatever is left, now you ask him. But then the benefit of this is you're going to see how he actually did it, right? That he actually answered you that same night, the next day. You're going to be like, wow, God is fast, Because when we make big generic prayers, the thought is going to say from the devil that God is, he doesn't help people right away. You get me? So by making what you want specific, that's just for you as a human being to know something you've never known before. That, wait a minute, if I was specific, since it takes time for God to give me the generic big thing I asked him, right? Wait a minute. I could have accomplished the first few portions of that big generic prayer, the first few steps now, but I didn't even know because I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting for God. You get me? But if you're specific with the first few steps you know is required to accomplish that big generic prayer, right? To enter your life, then you're going to see step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4 was ready. You could have accomplished it now. You just needed the strength or the guidance or etc. Or you know what to do, but you just need the strength to do it. You're too lazy or whatever. I mean, it doesn't matter. Just because you ask God to help you doesn't mean he didn't already naturally build with you the strength to do it on your own. And it doesn't mean when you just could already do it without that prayer, right? You could just do it on your own without praying to him that way. It doesn't mean that you did it without him. It's already the strength he built in us. You get me? But when you pray, it's an act of worship. You get me? You want to worship God. 2, it's better. You get me? You get to have a good relationship with him because you actually see it happening, what you prayed for. 3, you want to obviously understand God. Don't you agree? Don't you want to understand him, the way he helps you? You prayed something specific rather than generic. It's hard for demons to act like what they're doing is God then, right? Do something in your life. Because you were specific, so you're only waiting for one thing to happen, correct? You didn't make a generic prayer. You're specific. You only want to do a business plan this week, like that. So now, when you actually get the resources all of a sudden, right? You find something online all of a sudden randomly, someone like that, you're like, oh, this is the energy, right? The sort of peaceful, good energy. If God helps me, this is the good energy. Okay, so then when demons are trying to do something in your life or push you to do something or send you people, situations, and resources and information, right? Now you're going to be like, oh, that energy is so weird to me. That's not the one I remember when God answered me. That energy is so dark. Okay, but you're not going to know what dark energy feels like. You get me? You're not someone who can see it like me. A regular human cannot see dark energy this way. So you need to learn it, basically. You need to learn with practice like I did. You need to learn what it looks like. So how are you going to know? You get me? You're always getting thoughts. You're always seeing humans telling you to do things. You don't know who and what, and you get me? You're all over the place. You don't know when something is from God. Okay, so by praying to him, you learn, right, the way it feels in your mind and body, and the way a situation feels, the calm way it presents itself to you, this right opportunity, the way it presents itself to you. You're going to be like, okay, this is from God. Because, right, you've actually gone through, you've noticed it's actually from God. Okay, when demons are pushing you to something else, now you recognize that energy is different, right? You're not going to do it. You get me? So you've also accomplished this quality of confusion leaving your mind. So pray this way. Yes, ask for the big generic things you want. I did that too. But be specific so that he guides you step by step. Either way, he would have guided you. You get me? It's just a way to pray. It's just you're praising him in a way where you just be saying more words. But it's beneficial for you because you learn how God helps you. But if you make a generic prayer, and all of a sudden, event 1 happened, event 2 happened, event 3 happened, and now you started that business. You don't really remember how God guided you, correct? And you don't want that. You want to learn how his energy feels like. So that there you go, you can recognize when things are from God. You can have a good relationship with him now. Not just to protect yourself from evil and darkness and demons and confusion, but because, what's the other reason? I can't think of anything right now. I'm tired. You get me? Just think of all the benefits that could happen. You get me? You'll be connected with him better. And you worshipped him better because you spoke more. You get me? Because you're saying more words. If you ask him for generic steps, because it means you're praying on a regular basis, versus you said one time, please help me start this business. That's just one time you spoke to him. You see, you're not worshiping more. You're not doing that act more. Okay, so take care of yourselves.